Microevolution is considered small-scale changes within a species which, according to evolutionists, accumulate over time and lead to macroevolution, resulting in the hypothetical transformation of one species into another different one. The terms micro and macroevolution were first introduced by Russian biologist Yuri Filipchenko in 1927, and the concept that microevolution serves as the raw material for macroevolution was first used by Filipchenko's student Theodosius Dobzhansky in the 1930s in his book Genetics and the Origin of Species. He, along with a few other evolutionists, sought to reconcile Darwin's theory of evolution, which was based only on superficial transmissions, with emerging discoveries in genetics, and formed the basis of modern synthesis, which is still commonly touted as the theory of evolution. These adherents of modern synthesis associated small-scale changes that happen within a species with microevolution and big-scale changes that, according to them, turn one species into another, for example, fish into reptile, with macroevolution. However, these small-scale changes are actually observable variations arising from different combinations of pre-existing genetic information present in the DNA of living beings. It is a biological phenomenon that has nothing to do with evolution. For example, children are always slightly different from their parents but remain fundamentally the same species as their parents. An enormous number of such variations have occurred in human beings over generations, but these variations have always been limited and never resulted in humans evolving into any other species. This biological phenomenon also extends across all species and can be narrower or wider in some species depending on the extent of geographic isolation of the population, which makes some genes become more dominant in that particular population and recessive in other populations within that species. Dogs, for example, display significant variations in size, coat type, and physical features, yet regardless of these differences, all dogs are still dogs and part of the same species. No matter how many interbreeding happens between these variations of dogs, they will always be dog and will not turn into horses or birds. Biologist Edward S. Tibby, who is himself an evolutionist, also acknowledged this fact, stating that remarkable things have been achieved through crossbreeding, but wheat is still wheat and not, for instance, grapefruit. The evolutionary claim that these micro-changes accumulate over time and lead to different species is therefore unfounded and lacks scientific support. Variations within species are bound by the genetic information already present in their DNA. These variations do not generate new genetic information necessary for one species to evolve into another. Also, when there is no such thing as microevolution, the foundation for macroevolution collapses entirely. So neither micro nor macroevolution ever occurs, and there is no link between them either. All that happens is a recombination of pre-existing genes that stays within the limits of the genetic information already present in a species' total gene pool. This conclusion was also clearly reached during the most important symposium held in Chicago in 1980, which was attended by 150 evolutionists. Roger Lewin, reporting on the conference, stated that the central question of the Chicago conference was whether the mechanisms underlying microevolution can be extrapolated to explain the phenomena of macroevolution. The answer can be given as a clear no. Therefore, those who are taken in by the misconception that microevolution is true must know that the word is being deceptively used to represent a natural biological phenomenon as an evolutionary process just so the theory of evolution can be kept alive, which in reality has lost all its credibility because of having no proof of any evolutionary process, and the theory of evolution is being kept alive solely because it provides another materialistic explanation that belies God, even if that comes at the cost of distorting scientific findings. And it is surely an injustice of grave level to science and to students who are being taught this false theory in the name of science.